Jeffrey Snider is a financial analyst who is known for his work in macroeconomic research and analysis. He is currently the head of global investment research at Alhambra Investments, a financial advisory firm based in Florida, USA. Jeffrey Snider discusses the economic situation in China following the country's decision to abandon its zero-COVID policy. While the Chinese economy has seen some improvement, particularly in the manufacturing and service sectors, there are still challenges to be addressed, such as a lack of market demand. Snider notes that the Chinese government is taking a managed decline approach to stabilize the economy, rather than flooding the system with stimulus. He also highlights the impact of neoliberalism on China and the global economy, as well as the fact that China's economic struggles are part of a globally synchronized problem. The Chinese leader Xi Jinping has thrown off his zero-COVID policy in order to let the Chinese economy breathe and then fly, and that Chinese corporations have been borrowing at an epic rate. The Chinese PMI has surged to the highest in more than a decade, and the Chinese leadership has been hyping the possibility of the economy reopening. This weekend, the Chinese Communist Party held a working group plenum to discuss the economic situation. The most important details in this text are that China is facing challenges in the domestic and global economy following its emergence from 3 years of strict COVID-19 measures, and that the government is not going to do anything about it. Additionally, the government is refusing to accept this reality or report on it, and that people in the West either haven't heard about it or don't want to accept it. These details show that China is not booming, but rather is facing challenges that have been going on for many years. China's GDP growth has been slowing since the 19th Party Congress in October of 2017. This is due to the lack of economic policy in recognition that the global economy was not ever going to recover from the 2008 recession, and that the Chinese had seen up close in person what was going on and had told the Western media and central bankers that it wasn't working. This led to the Chinese giving up on a global recovery and giving up on the global economic prospects, which is a dangerous political proposition for any top state that doesn't deliver elite. China's economic situation was worse than expected, and that removing zero-COVID had reignited hopes of China going back to its former glory. This was due to a massive flood of stimulus coming from the Keynesian textbook, which was supposed to save China and the rest of the world. However, the Chinese wanted to stabilize the economy rather than get it going again, so the projections for 2023 reflected this managed economy. The National Bureau of Statistics, NBS, reported that the percentage of manufacturing and service sector companies that reflected a lack of orders in the survey has decreased compared to last month, but still exceeds 50%. This suggests that the problem of insufficient market demand is still prominent and that China's economic recovery still needs to be strengthened. The Chinese are not going to flood the system with fiscal and monetary stimulus to do something about this, and the Western media keeps getting it wrong by focusing on the downside instead of focusing on the stability-managed decline. CNN published an article discussing the Chinese government's fiscal and monetary stimulus plans. The article noted that the doctrine of quality economic growth was set forth at the 19th Party Congress, and that this course of managed decline was set in motion by the 2008 global monetary crisis. The Federal Reserve's quantitative easing, QE, was a waste of time, and the transition from Hu Jintao to Li Keqiang was unexpected. The Chinese leadership was viewing deviations from Marxist and Maoist ideology as no longer necessary because the economic growth potential of the world had suddenly changed. In April 2013, the Chinese issued Document No. 9, which discussed how neoliberalism advocated unrestrained economic liberalization, complete privatization, and total marketization, and opposed any kind of interference or regulation by the West. This led to Western countries carrying out the neoliberal agendas under the guise of globalization, resulting in catastrophic consequences for Latin America, the Soviet Union and Eastern Europe, and dragging themselves into the international financial crisis. The ERD's leading indicators show that as of January 2023, the current range is 98.31 to 98.44, which is the same range as the middle of 2019 when we went through the global recession scare. This is a globally synchronized problem, with China in as bad a shape as everyone else, and the Chinese government sticking hard to its hard line to manage the decline. Even though it's less than a week, it seems like a distant memory at this point.